All right, good afternoon. We're going to talk about week 6 this time. I'm hoping to keep this one under 6 minutes. We'll see if I can manage it. So in week 6, you'll be reading chapter 5 of Asking the Right Questions. And in this chapter, you're considering the question about what words or phrases are ambiguous. And I want to stress the point, and they stress it also in the chapter, but you're not reading an article or a passage and looking at every single word to see if it's ambiguous or not. You're really concentrating on the words, the phrases that are used in the reasons, in the conclusion, and to see if you understand all of those words, and not just understand them, but you understand the meaning that the person who's communicating to you is trying to convey. So I made a note to myself here about vocabulary because I wanted to stress to you that part of critical thinking is expanding your vocabulary. I mean, to me, a good critical thinker is someone who has a large vocabulary so that when you are analyzing something, either somebody that's speaking to you or you're reading, you can understand what's being said to you. And also, as you go through your working through your major, you will learn discipline-specific vocabulary. So, like for me, I have a library degree, it's a master's degree. I learned, things about MARC records and metadata and things like that that mean nothing to you perhaps, but mean something to me because it's part of my profession. And also, another thing to keep in mind about vocabulary is that, um, sometimes a profession, let's say the science, which isn't a single profession or field, but let's say science in particular uses the word theory very differently than, say, you and I in a casual conversation would use the word theory. And so we often mean, I have a guess. If I say I have a theory about something, I'm really saying I have a hypothesis or a guess. And when a scientist refers to a theory, they're referring to something that's further along the lines than a hypothesis. It's past the guess. It's things have been tested and they're coming up with an overall explanation for the results of those tests, and that's the theory. So, um, I have graded assignment 1, and there was one thing I wanted to point out to you in assignment number 1, which was where I had you compare well, I guess there's 2 things I want to say to you. 2 articles. One is, if you ever have a problem opening a link, please let me know immediately and I will fix it, or I will send you the item and or whatever. And this case, it wasn't really that I was trying to trick you, but one article was from the Centers for Disease Control and the other one was from a journal. The Centers for Disease Control obviously are a credible source, maybe even an authoritative source, but it's not necessarily a scholarly source. So you have to watch out for things like that. And not that you couldn't use a citation from the CDC in a paper. It's just it's not a peer-reviewed journal article. So just watch out for that. I have this note up here about helping me grade faster, and you guys are really good about it. For the most part, I think there's maybe this 1 or 2 that didn't type your name into the document. And another thing is this isn't as critical, given that we're using short documents. But if we were working with a longer document, like a 10-page paper or something like that, I would probably be downloading and saving it, and then coming back to read them instead of reading them online in D2L. So when you save a document and upload it to the Dropbox in D2L, I strongly urge you to include your last name as part of the file name. And that will help, well, it'll help me, but it obviously will help your other professors too. And obviously if you can put your name on the document itself, because, I'm clicking on the link in the Dropbox and it's opening the document for me, and then I have your name right away and I know who you are and I'm working with it. And when I'm in the Dropbox, it's very clear who I'm working with, but if it's anything else than like a longer paper, that I'm coming back to, it's not as clear who wrote it. So just do that. In assignment 2, I've posted it and it'll be due on the 22nd. This one, you're going to continue practicing reading some short passages where you identify the issue and the reasons, conclusion, and some ambiguous terms. And we're going to step it up a little bit now. You're going to apply those skills to an online magazine article. It's short, but it's longer than the passages you've been reading. And you will also create an APA style citation for it. So I've included some resources about APA citations for you. And then the final part of the assignment is developing a research question. So I've also posted some links about how you work with a topic. So anyway, week 6 is coming your way. Thanks.